are you paid monthly? Are you paid weekly, bi-weekly?
In the NHS, you're paid monthly.
Okay.
So like my trust where I work, you're paid on the 27th of each month. If the 27th falls on a weekend, then you'll be paid the Friday before the weekend. That is for my trust that I work with. But NHS hospitals pay monthly.
Okay, this cannot happen here. Nobody will work for you if you want to pay them a month. No.
Okay.
People pay as quick as weekly. Okay. People pay weekly. People pay you bi-weekly, twice a week, every 2 weeks.
Okay.
Nobody will pay you monthly. Hi guys, welcome to my channel. You already know the name is Priscilla, registered nurse, RMBSN. I come from Ghana. I live in the US and I work in New York State as a registered nurse. I'm a nurse and YouTuber. I've been bringing a lot of videos out for you every time, and thank you for my numerous subscribers. Thanks for sharing this video. And I am so grateful to bring somebody back on this show. She's already been on this show. Her name is Becky Setre. She's a UK-based nurse and YouTuber. She and I have at least 3 things in common. We went to Ola Girls back in Ghana, Volta region. We went to University of Ghana School of Nursing. That's number 2. And then number 3, we are all nursing YouTubers on this journey. We've been giving information out for free and people are loving it. So kindly share this video. Today's topic, if you're wondering what we're talking about the difference in UK and US nursing. People are always asking us, where do you think I should go? Should I go to UK? Should I go to US? This video is not in any way coercing anybody to do anything. We are just giving you what we know based on where we live, and we leave the choice up to you to make your own decision. We are here to tell you about what happens in the US and what happens in UK. And we leave the choice to you. If you want to migrate as a nurse, you don't know where to go, and you're wondering, oh, can I get an information from somebody who lives there? We are telling you the story as it is. So watch this video to the end and share with others, and it will benefit somebody. Hi, Becky. Welcome to my show once again. Welcome to the Hot Seat with Priscilla Kumar.
Priscilla, nice to be here again. I hope you're doing okay.
I'm doing okay. I think you were on the show about a year or almost 2 years ago, and you are back again. Thanks for coming back. How are you?
Not too bad. Thank you.
How is the channel going? How is the YouTube live?
Not doing too badly, I would say. Yeah.
Yes, and how is work? Recently you changed jobs, and congrats on that. How is everything?
This is I've just done 5 weeks into the new job. So my new job is headache specialist nurse. So mainly looking after people with migraines. So I've done my first clinic, and people with chronic migraine do have Botox injection if they have failed 3 different preventative medications. So yeah, I did my first Botox clinic last week, and it wasn't bad actually. Yeah.
Nice. Congrats. So as you can hear, the clinics and the hospitals can be very specific. There's a pain hospital, there's a diabetes hospital, there's a headache clinic, and everything. So try and join us work in the UK or US, depending on what you want to do. So Becky, please introduce yourself once again to my viewers that do not know you.
Hi, my name is Becky Setre, originally from Ghana. I've been in the UK since 2003 and have been practicing as a nurse, and I've done bedside nursing, and I have been doing non-bedside nursing since 2009. So happy to be here. I do YouTube videos as well.
Okay, so I'm going to link her channel name below. Becky Setre is a channel. She talks about nursing, migration, journey in the UK, and all that you need to know. So kindly go subscribe to her channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Kindly subscribe to the channel before you watch the video to the end. So Becky, what are we talking about today?
So today we're going to be talking about the difference between UK and US nursing. And as you said in the introduction, we are not here to say go here or go there. We're going to be sharing our knowledge about both systems, and then you can make your own decision. So we're going to be starting with the registration process, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
So if somebody wants to come to the UK, you have to register first with the NMC, UK NMC. And with that registration process, you have to, sign up or register yourself. And then after that, you're going to be requiring to have your English, which is the IELTS, or you do OET. Good news is that the UK NMC is consulting on changing the English requirements, so they might be reducing some of the requirements, so we have to watch the space. So English requirement, then you're going to be doing the CBT, which is a computer-based test. If you're successful with the initial registration, then you would be given a decision letter, and you would have to find an employer, come over to the UK and do what we call the OSCE, which is the practical test. And then when you do the practical test, that helps you to complete your NMC registration, and then you can become a UK registered nurse. So that is our process if you want to come to the UK.
Wow, that seems simple compared to the US, but it's not too different. So I'll just tell you about how the US process works. So if you live outside the US, and you are a nurse outside the US and you want to work in the US as a nurse, you are considered a foreign educated nurse. Yes, I think you in UK, you call them overseas nurse, but we call them foreign educated nurse. So before anybody who's schooled outside the US wants to work in the US, you have to have your credentials evaluated first. They have to make sure your grades, your transcripts match the American system for you to be able to work in the US. So your first thing you want to do is get your transcripts evaluated. One of the biggest companies that does it for almost all the states in America is called CGFNS. That's the biggest house power for transcript evaluation. There are so many other evaluation companies. I have shared a couple on my channel. There's another one, ERES. So you have to go to their website, find the requirements, and see what works best for you. Every state with their requirements. So all the 50 states of America have their board of nursing. So you have to decide which state you want to live in. So let's say you want to live in New York State, then you go to New York State Board of Nursing website. If you want to live in Texas, you go to Texas Board of Nursing website. Then you see the requirements for foreign educated nurses, because the information there is not just for foreign education, it's for everybody. So make sure you are looking at a foreign educated nurse, because that is what you are. Even those who schooled in the US also go to that same board of nursing. So make sure you're looking at a foreign educated nurse or international nurse. Then look at all the requirements. Then when they mention that you have to have your transcript evaluated, they would mention the specific company they want you to use. So if they say use CGFNS or ERES, then you have to go to that specific evaluation company. If you go to another one, that board of nursing will not accept it. So the first thing, decide a state you want to live. Okay, I want to go to New York State. Go to New York State Board of Nursing, see the requirements, and go with the evaluation company they mentioned there for a foreign educated person. Then when you go back to the evaluation company's website and see the requirements for a foreign educated person, they'll ask you for your secondary school forms, your secondary school diploma, they call it in the US here, but we don't award diploma, but the transcript you got from senior secondary school or senior high school, as they call it now, SHS. Then your professional PIN as a nurse, your profession, and also where you got your nursing training education from. If it's university, a college, or nursing training, they want to see that you did all the required courses, the medical, surgical, obstetrics, and everything. So they'll ask for all that. You submit it to them. But before you even get to submit it, you have to pay first. They release the forms to you. Then you fill out the form. Then you take the other portion to your school to endorse. Then your school has to mail it directly to the evaluation company. You cannot hand deliver it. You cannot give it to anybody coming to America to board the plane and bring it. The school has to seal the envelope with their stamp at the back to show nobody has tampered with it, because you can alternate, or you can alterate your results. You can change your D to grade A. So they don't want anything like that, manipulation. So the school seal is on it, or else they would not accept it. So they will receive that, work on it, convert the grades to match up the American standard. Then they will generate a report and send that report directly from their evaluation company to the board of nursing you chose. So if you chose New York or Texas, they'll send the report to New York Board of Nursing. Then New York Board of Nursing will look at the reports from that evaluation company, for instance, CGFNS, and say, oh, okay, she's truly a nurse, she qualifies to work in the US. Then they will also, the Board of Nursing will write back to you and say, you are good to go. Register with the Pearson VUE. They conduct the NCLEX. NCLEX is the US licensure you take before you can work in US. So then you go to Pearson VUE website, you register with them and choose a date that works for you. Then you go to the exam center and write the NCLEX in 48 working hours. If it's a weekend, if you wrote it on Friday, that means you find out on Monday. But if you wrote it on Tuesday, after 48 hours, by Thursday morning, you should have your results. Then you become an RN. You wait, you get your certificate in the mail. They post the real hard copy certificate to your house address. You pick it up, then you start finding a hospital to work. So this is a scenario, a perfect scenario for somebody who is doing this from the US. Yes. The person doing it outside the US will do the same thing. The only thing is that there are so many recruiting agencies now that are helping nurses do this, because you wouldn't know where to go and what to apply for and house address and social security number and all that. So the agencies are based in the US and they know all these requirements, and they come invest in you, help you write NCLEX. The only NCLEX center in Africa is in South Africa. That's where you write the NCLEX. Then when you pass, the agencies will work on your immigration and get you over to the US, and you are bonded to them. You can also write NCLEX in India. If you are watching from Asia, and there are so many centers in India, you can also go and write. And there's another center in UK where you live. So yes. So the agencies make everything easier for you. They make it concise. Then you will be bonded to them. Some you will be bonded to them 2 or 3 years after you come into America. You'll be working and bonded to them, and they will take a portion of your pay. Either they strike a deal with the hospital and take it from source, or they take it from your paycheck. Every agency with their contracts. And basically that is how you become a nurse in the US. And I recently formed a team because so many people have been reaching out to me to help them. And I formed a team. It's called USRN Pathway Consult. I've done this so many years. I've been living here for some years now. I'm a registered nurse. I'm a citizen. I come from Ghana. I'm a foreign educated nurse. So I put all this expertise together. And since I know the terrain, I decided to set up a company. We have some team members in Ghana, and we work together in helping people navigate the system, because you don't know what to apply for. And midwives are very stranded. Midwifery in the US is a master's program and above. And unfortunately, it's offered in Ghana as a diploma, a 3-year program. So some of the nurses couldn't work here. But luckily, we found a way that there are some states that have accepted midwives, and midwives are now working. And we know where to pass and what evaluation you need and what state to choose before you can get everything together and be able to work in the US. So that's my new team that I just launched a couple of weeks ago, USRN Pathway Consult. So check us out on Facebook, and also our link will be in the comment section for this video. Yes, Becky, I've spoken a lot. Over to you. What next?
Yeah. So actually, from what you said, the UK one as well, they do verification of your qualification back home from whichever country. So if you've trained outside of the UK, they will do your verification as well and make sure that your registration is correct, it's not fake. So they will do that through your NMC in your home country as well. You're going to be presenting a lot of documents to them as well, just to verify and make sure what you were saying is correct. With regards to the agency recruitment, some people can actually get a job here themselves. They can apply and get employers to get them over. Others can go through agencies as well. When you get the employer in the UK, most of them, when they give them visa, they actually somehow give them a contract. You work with me for 3 years, and if you're leaving within that 3 years, you pay some money because they spend a lot of money in bringing most people here, and they give them some welcome bonus, and they may take that back. So those are some of the things. So we can go ahead and talk about the salaries, if that's okay. So for UK, if you are starting as an OSCE nurse, so it means you have to learn the way we do things in the UK before you write your OSCE exam. So whilst doing that, they are normally paid below a nursing grade. And then they go through the preparation to do the OSCE. So when they finish writing the OSCE and they are fully registered nurses, their starting salary for a nurse, which is band 5, is about £25,655 per annum. And over the years, by the time you've worked as a band 5 for 5, 6, 7 years, your salary would be rising each year until you get to about 31,534. That is the top of your band. And when you get there, you can't get any more. So you may have to consider applying for a higher band. So that's about salary over here. What I'm talking about is based on the NHS. Private entities do have their own salaries that I can't talk about, but I work in the NHS. So anything I'm talking about is based on the NHS contracts and conditions. Yeah.
Okay, so
I don't know how it is, yeah, at yours.
So my question is that, are you paid monthly? Are you paid weekly, bi-weekly?
In the NHS, you're paid monthly.
Okay.
So like my trust where I work, you're paid on the 27th of each month. If the 27th falls on a weekend, then you'll be paid the Friday before the weekend. That is for my trust that I work with. But NHS hospitals pay monthly.
Okay, this cannot happen here. Nobody will work for you if you want to pay them a month. No.
Okay.
People pay as quick as weekly.
Okay.
People pay weekly. People pay you bi-weekly, twice a week, every 2 weeks.
Okay.
Nobody will pay you monthly. But there are nurses that are paid monthly. We call them salaried nurses. If you are in the top management, you are a nurse manager, you are the policy maker, they pay you monthly. But for a regular bedside nurse, you want that money quick because they have bills coming out and you want that quickly. So I am paid bi-weekly. Every 2 weeks I get paid. Okay. And yeah, some people work in nursing homes and they get paid weekly. Left to some people, they even want to get paid daily. That's how bad it is. Yes.
Now that cost of living is going up as well. We all need money, isn't it?
We all need money.
Interesting. Yeah. So what about the salary wise? Yes. Does it depend on state or?
Yes. So there are so many factors that affect your salary. Number one, your location. The state you are in and the parts of the state you are. I will use myself as an example. I live in New York State, but I don't live in New York City. New York City is the one you see on TV every day with the lights and they never sleep. Yes. So somebody living there is renting a small room for like $3,000. So obviously the pay has to match their cost of living over there. So let's say I have a colleague in New York City. She said they paid her. The pays even changed with COVID. What we used to get before COVID is not what we get now after COVID happened. When COVID happened, everybody left to do travel nursing. And the hospital system became very, very, very short-staffed. So the travel nursing was paying big, as high as $120 an hour. And a bedside nurse is taking like $30 an hour. So when I started, they considered my year's experience in Ghana. So the very first band you start with, you call it band, we call it ranks. You'll be an RN1, registered nurse 1, registered nurse 2, registered nurse 3, like that. So for a new grad, you'll be registered nurse 1, RN1. And for a foreign educated person, they accept you as a new grad. So they treat you as RN1. But I managed to lobby my way. I was like, I have all these years experience, it's over 8 years experience. Can you start me at RN2? One hospital I used to work with said they were going to start me as RN1, and the other one accepted to start me as RN2. So I am speaking as RN2. So when I started as RN2, I was making $26 an hour, I think so. Then after 6 months, I got a little raise that was like 80 cents. So $26.80. Then COVID happened, back and forth, and as the years went by, I started getting raises and here and there, and between I would say $32 to $35. I'm not going to mention the specific amounts right now because I have a video coming up about my pay slip, the details on it. So I earn something between $31 to $35 as a staff nurse sitting at one place. And I live in New York State. And I have colleagues that are staff nurses who live in New York State. As staff nurses, they are not travel nurses, they are sitting at one place. A staff nurse is somebody who is attached to one hospital at one place. And they are in New York City. And because they are in New York City and the cost of living is high, they get as high as $80. So somebody is making $80 an hour, and I'm making $30, $31, $32, $33, $34 an hour. But my cost of living is nothing compared to them. They are renting a small studio for $2,000. That $2,000 can get a whole 4-bedroom mansion or house where I live. I live in upstate New York. Yes. So currently I'm between $31 to $35 an hour. But there are so many factors that affect your pay, what you get. If you're working weekends, there's a weekend differential. If you're working nights, there's a night differential. If you're working holidays, there's a holiday differential. So imagine somebody who is working a holiday, night, and weekend. We are all staff nurses, but she's not going to go home with $33, $34 an hour. Because some are time and a half. So if she adds that, if they add time and a half, you get more. So if somebody does overtime, she's a staff nurse that does overtime, she'll get more. Let's say if I do my overtime, my hourly pay is $52 an hour if I go overtime. $52 an hour. But if I go my regular days, my hourly pay is like 31 to 34, 35, as I said. So if you put more into overtime, you get more. But with the overtime, you need to be very careful how you do it. If not, you're going to pay all back in tax return. Especially if you're not claiming any kids or any disabled child or dependents or anything, you lose all your money back to the system. So you have to be very strategic about it. So the shift differential affects how much you make. So even though you have on your paycheck that you're taking $32 an hour as an RN2, that is for where I live. People are in California and they are RN1 and they are making like $60 or $80 an hour. It depends on location and cost of living and the shift differentials. That is why somebody cannot tell you the exact amounts they make. But my pay rate, what I'm hired for as RN2 and with everything I've done so far, is between $31 to $35 an hour. I have a video coming up and I'll show you every evidence. So yes.
So with the pay, as you said, it's similar here. So I work Monday to Friday, 9 till 5. If someone is working weekends and night duty or on bank holidays, like a holiday like today, they are going to get something higher. So if someone is doing a lot of night shifts, they're going to get extra on their normal salary. But the range I talked about is the same. The addition would just be if you're doing night shifts or you're doing weekend shifts or you're working on a bank holiday, you'll get a little bit extra. In addition, if you're working in London, because cost of living is a bit higher in London, their pay is slightly higher. They get what we call inner London sort of allowance. So it makes their salary a little bit higher.
Okay. Yeah. Add one more thing. You mentioned per annum. I didn't say per annum. So, and I can also put this in a monthly basis too. So in a month, though I get 2 paychecks because I'm paid every 2 weeks. If I put those 2 paychecks together, big paychecks, pay slip, pay stub, I don't know which one you use in UK. If I put those 2 I get in a month together, I'm making something between $5,000 to $6,000 a month. Okay. Yes. So in 12 months, a year per annum, I make between $70,000 to $75,000 a year.
So in my case, I've been band 7 for about 10 years now. So we start from band 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, and each band has their salary bracket. So as a top band 7, I wouldn't be specific, but I take over between 45 and 46,000 per annum. So at the end of the month, you take about between 2,005 and 2,600 per month. Now, there's an increase in our national insurance. So I realize my salary has come down a little bit, but it's still between 2,005 and 2,600 a month, I would say. Yeah.
If you're wondering what Becky is saying, she's talking about pounds.
Yes,
I'm talking dollars. So
yeah.
Pounds and dollars. Just so you know, Becky is in UK and I'm in US.
Yeah. So you can calculate the US dollars and then the British pounds, and then you can compare and see. So that is for band 7. So for someone who is a band 5 who is starting, they may be taking about 1,500 to 1,600 pounds per month in the UK. Yes. But if they're doing weekends or extra or whatever, then it goes higher. So the next thing we could talk about would be like maternity leave. So in the UK, if you're working, you are entitled to 1 year maternity leave. So you can stay home with your baby for 1 year, but you have to think about the financial implications. So it depends. So the pay for maternity, if you're working in the UK, depends on how many years you have worked with your employer. So for example, I've got it here. So if you've worked for about 12 months for your employer, by the 11 weeks before your expected date of delivery, you would get about 8 weeks of full pay. So that is 2 months full pay. You will get 18 weeks of half pay in addition to statutory maternity pay or maternity allowance. And then you might get 13 weeks of just the SMP. So when I had my baby 11 years ago, my last child 11 years ago, I went back to work by the time I was 9 months. I stayed with the baby for 9 months and I went back because the last 13 weeks, you will not be paid anything. So yes, you can stay for 1 year, but bear in mind that the last 13 weeks, you would have no pay at all, no SMP, nothing else. So the 9 months, by the time I get to the 9 months, I'll get in half of my salary in addition to SMP. So in total, it was almost totaling my normal salary. And after that, I thought I can't stay home 13 weeks without any pay. So you know what? I decided to go back to work. So that is the conditions in the NHS. Private nursing homes and other private organizations do have their own pay packet. However, you are entitled to 1 year maternity leave. And the men, if I have a baby, my husband would be entitled to 2 weeks paternity leave as well. Yeah.
I'm just laughing because I don't know what we're doing in this side of town. I don't know what we're doing in America. I don't know. 1 year. The first time I heard that, I had a friend. She had a baby. She's been on my channel before. Hi, Trudy Styles. She said she stayed home for 1 year, and I was wondering how can someone stay home for a year? Anyway, I would say that every state in America is like a country on its own. So New York State labor law will be different from California State labor law, and the same for Texas or any other place. So before your vacation, the labor law cuts across. So I live in New York State. I'll keep referring to New York State. So the labor law cuts across. And I got this information from a colleague because I haven't experienced a maternity leave yet. But there's something called PFL, Paid Family Leave. And there's something called FMLA, the time to take care of a sick family member or yourself. So people in America work until their expected day of delivery. I know somebody who came to work in the morning, she went into labor when she got home in the evening. The reason behind that is that you do not want to use any part of your vacation. You want to use it after the baby has arrived. That is how critical the issue is. So you work until your body gives out before you start taking your vacation. If you take a lot and the baby comes, you stay home with the baby 1 week and you are back. So you want to work as much as your body will allow you to work. So ideally it's between 8 to 10 weeks. Yes, 8 weeks, baby, you can imagine 8 to 10 weeks. Then you apply for that PFL, and I think they give you 12 weeks. And they give you a percentage of your pay. I'm told it's between 60 to 70% of your pay. They don't give you the whole pay. And some also add FMLA, the one that you use to take care of a sick family member or yourself, or pregnancy issues or something. And that just preserves your job. I currently apply for FMLA just because I needed some time to take care of some medical issues. So I did that, and it's just to preserve my job. They're not going to be paying me if I decide to stay home. I still work full time and everything, but you want to apply in advance, so you have that when you need it, and they can backdate it a little bit too. It won't pay you anything. It's just for your employer not to fire you for not showing up at work. So the FMLA preserves your job. The PFL, paid family leave, gives you a percentage of your job whilst you are out taking care of your baby. So you take those ones and add it. And the vacation that you'll be reserving throughout the year that you have not taken any yet, you add that vacation to your normal 6 to 8 weeks then, and that's how you build your hours. So it's very different, very unique. I have 2 people who had babies, and one stayed home for 12 weeks, one stayed home for 10 weeks. It depends on the vacation you have in your vacation bank. When the year begins, January 1st, if you're hired for 40 hours, they give you 40 hours PTO, paid time off, for the whole 12 months. If you're hired for 32 hours, you are given 32 hours PTO, paid time off, for the whole 12 months. It starts from January 1st. So let's say you wake up today and you have diarrhea, you can't go to work. They're gonna take from your PTO. I work between 10 hours to 12 hours a day. And you've given me, let's say 36 hours. And I'm using 12 hours to stay home. How much am I left with? And it's just January 2nd. We haven't even gotten to June. We haven't even gotten to December.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so they give you the PTO. So people thought about the PTO, whatever, and they added a little bit. So I work 40 hours a week. But luckily for the first time this 2020, I was given 56 hours PTO. They would have given me 40 hours because that's what I'm hired for. But I'm hired for 40 hours, and I was given 56 hours in my PTO bank. It's there in your storage. So that when you call in, your child is sick, or you don't have a sitter, you can use that PTO. So I know people who use their PTO by January 3rd, all the PTO is done. Because that is literally 3 12-hour shifts in there for you.
Yeah.
And it's not going to take you to the whole month. Yeah, so some people save that PTO as well. So if you save that PTO like 4 days, you add that 4 days to your maternity. And the vacation too, we only take 1 vacation per season. 1 week vacation per season. So winter break, you take 1 week. There's a whole book, everybody will put their name and the time they want. So October, November, December, January, February, you have to choose 1 week from that time. Summertime, you take 1 week. Spring, autumn, whatever, you take 1 week. You cannot take 2 weeks. So I told them I want to go to Ghana, I want to go to Africa. I cannot buy an expensive Delta airline ticket and go to Ghana for 1 week. And that is me spending 2 days on the flights back and forth. So how many days am I left to spend with my family, loved one? And they laughed at me. They said, there's no way you get 5 weeks straight to go to Africa. It's like, how? So I would have to apply for FMLA. That's some of the reasons why I have applied for the FMLA, is that when I need it, to preserve my job. I'll be gone. I'll be having a good time in Ghana, but I'll be broke. There'll be no money coming to my account because they don't pay you for the FMLA. They pay you for the paid family leave, PFL. And that you can only qualify for if it's pregnancy, childbirth, something, before they'll preserve your job, because they can't fire you because you're pregnant. Yes. So you have to know what to apply for and how to save up to get all the vacations. So two people with the same condition who will give birth the same day will not come back the same day to work. If I use my PTO in January and I don't have any 4 days to add, somebody who did not use their PTO will have some days. So literally, basically something between 10 to 15 weeks maximum, everybody is back after having a baby. 10 to 15 weeks maximum. Yeah.
So since you've talk about two things that you mentioned in your video, one is about sick pay and another is about leave for the year. So in the NHS, once again, in the UK, when you're working for the NHS, they have sick pay policy. So for example, I'm off sick today. I just have to ring. I can self-certify for 1 week without seeing my doctor and stay home if I'm that sick. Anything after 7 days, you have to see your GP or your doctor to give you a sick note to give to your employers. Now, the entitlement. So if you have started working with your employer, an NHS employer, for your first year, if for say you are very, very ill, you can't go to work, let's say for the first year, for 1 month, you would have 2 months full, you get 1 month full pay and then 2 months half pay. So that is 1 year service in your employment. In your second year, you will get 2 months full pay and 2 months half pay. If you have worked for your employer for 5 years, if say I have a long term, I've become ill and I can't work for the next 1 year, I would get 6 months full pay and 6 months half pay. So for example, I've worked for the hospital for 19 years. So if I have become very unwell now and I have to stay home for 1 year, I should be paid 6 months of my full pay and then 6 months of half pay. And then they would be meeting you and discussing how to make adjustments for you to come back. But that is the policy, I would say. For leave as well, if you start working with an NHS employer, you are entitled to 27 days leave, which is 5.4 weeks in a year. The year starts from 1st of April to 31st of March. So you have to spread your leave within that time. If I'm planning to go home to Ghana, I can book 2 weeks off. Anything more than 2 weeks, you would have to seek permission from your matron to authorize you to go home for more than that. Okay. And then apart from that, there's something else I'm going to talk about. If you have worked for more than 5 years, you'll get 33 days leave for the year. So the next thing we can talk about is average working hours per week. So in the NHS as well, you are contracted to work for 37.5 hours in a week. So I do 7.5 hours in a day. Some people do about 12 hours or 11.5 hours. So if you're doing long hours, you will be working about, let's say 3 days in 3 weeks, and then maybe 4 days in a 4th week in a month. So 3 days for 3 weeks. It doesn't mean only 3 days in 3 whole weeks. This week you work 3 long days, next week 3 long shifts, the other week 3 long shifts, and then the 4th week you do 4 shifts. So it covers your 37.5, but you can do overtime and the lot if you want to.